Hi, you wonderful people. It's me, your host, your only friend, and the best man at your wedding, Kyler Elliott. Welcome to episode 10 of Run It Back. That's right, we made it. This is episode 10 of the new season. In show terms, this is like hitting a solid decade, except instead of a diamond anniversary, it's 5 consecutive weeks of me talking into a camera and hoping I don't accidentally say something extremely stupid. In celebration of such a milestone, we have an awesome surprise for you. We are going to give you the exact same show that we've been giving you for the last 9 episodes. That means starting off with some KU sports, then moseying our way into the pros, then wrapping this magical episode up with some super fun segments that are sure to knock your socks off, or at the very least, put a smile on your face. I think this episode's going to be the best one yet, but that's for you to decide. Anyways, let's cha-cha slide and Dougie into this episode of Run It Back. KU 27, UCF 20. Yep, the Jayhawks defense actually played pretty well, and LaShawn Williams scored every touchdown for the Jayhawks. The women's volleyball team also beat the 15th ranked Baylor Bears on Friday. Unfortunately, the women's soccer team fell short to the Texas Tech Red Raiders on Sunday. Lastly, women's swimming and diving has gotten off to a hot start after winning all 10 events at the Sunflower Showdown on Friday. Let's go back to Zach for a football recap.
Thank you, Kyler. To be a Kansas Jayhawk football fan is to have an elevated heart rate for about 3 hours straight every Saturday. And that's exactly what we all had as KU pulled out the win in a thriller against UCF, 27-20. And I couldn't be happier to say that the biggest story from the game wasn't the offense. What? I must be out of my mind. But in all seriousness, the Jayhawk defense was stellar in the second half of the game, shutting out the Knights completely in the second half, and the third quarter was the best defense KU has played all season, holding UCF to -1 yards in the entire quarter. When the game was tied with 3 minutes left in the quarter, the defense stepped up big when Jalen Dye forced a fumble and Trey Lathan picked it up on the 2-yard line, leading to an easy score for KU's offense. With less than 2 minutes left in the game, after UCF began to drive down the field, it came to a goal line stand to keep the lead. UCF was left on 4th down on the 1-yard line. Choosing to run a quarterback draw, the KU defense stepped up big, winning the goal line stand to keep the lead and giving the ball back to the Jayhawk offense. After a rough couple of weeks on defense, it was an amazing sight to see as they stepped up big for the comeback victory. The key factor in the game was easy. Linebacker Bengali Kamara was out for the first half due to the targeting penalty called on him against Cincinnati. But once he was back in for the second half, I think it became obvious to everyone that he is the heart and soul of the defense. He leads the defense well and lights a fire under a squad that is incredible to see. Now all that's left is for the defense to play the way they did in the second half for all 4 quarters. On the offensive side of the ball, LaShawn Williams had an incredible game with 12 carries for 58 yards and 3 touchdowns. The number 4 and KU running backs just make sense. With how explosive the KU offense can be and the shutdown defense we saw in the second half, Jayhawk fans should have a new sense of hope for this team that everyone should be very excited about. This weekend, the Jayhawks travel down to Lubbock, Texas to face off against the Texas Tech Red Raiders. Then it's the weekend we've all been waiting for, the Sunflower Showdown. But for now, let's send it over to Logan for an update on KU volleyball.
Thanks, Zach. On Friday night down in Waco, Texas, the Kansas Jayhawks pulled off an amazing 5-set victory over Baylor, handing the Bears their first conference loss. Kansas dominated Baylor 3-2 with set scores of 19-25, 25-19, 25-13, 25-27, and 15-13. The Jayhawks had a season high of 17.5 blocks led by Jovana Zelenovic and Reese Patel. Zelenovic led with 16 kills and 6 blocks, while Patak added 14 kills and a season high of 9 block assists. After losing the first set, Kansas bounced back to win the next 2 sets, but Baylor forced the 5th set. The Jayhawks stayed composed down to the very end. Zelenovic delivered a clutch kill for match point, and Katie Dalton sealed the deal with sealed the win 15-13. Head coach Matt Ulmer called it an excellent team win, praising KU's execution in every phase. With the win, KU improves to 11-7 overall and 2-2 in conference play. This marks KU's 3rd win in their win streak against Baylor, narrowing Baylor's all-time lead to 31-28. The Jayhawks will return back home at Horsch Family Volleyball Arena for 2 matches this week, hosting Texas Tech on October 8th and Iowa State on October 10th. For more updates on KU women's volleyball, follow their Instagram and X, and be sure to also check out kuathletics.com. Now to Xander with KU women's soccer.
Thank you, Logan. Kansas soccer traveled to Lubbock, Texas on Sunday to take on the number 18 team in the country, the Texas Tech Red Raiders. Unfortunately, KU was never able to take control, and they suffered a 2-0 defeat. The loss dropped the Jayhawks to 2-3 in conference play and 8-3-2 on the season. Offensively, KU just didn't look like they normally do. For the first time all season, KU got outshot as the Red Raiders created 13 shots to KU's 7. That mark for KU is a season low, and also the only time they failed to generate double-digit shots this season. In fact, they didn't get their first shot off in the game until the 39th minute of the first half. The game began very reminiscent of their previous 3 conference games, when in the 10th minute, Texas Tech forward Taylor Zerjeski stole the ball deep in KU territory. Zerjeski nailed a shot from the top of the box that went just off of KU goalkeeper Sophie Dawes' fingertips to put the Red Raiders up 1-0. Zerjeski would also score Texas Tech's 2nd goal an hour of game time later in the 69th minute. This time, she received a cross from forward Peyton Parsons before tapping the ball into the bottom of the net to give the Red Raiders their 2nd goal in the 2-0 victory. Though there wasn't much to cheer about for KU, the star of the game for them was goalkeeper Sophie Dawes. Despite the 2 goals allowed, Dawes made 4 saves on the day, including multiple one-on-one saves. The game could have gotten a lot worse for the Jayhawks if not for her. Here's what Coach Lee had to say post-game.
You know, it's one that there's no shame in losing to a great team on the road, but we fought and still think that we missed a really good opportunity here. It's one that we can win, and as the program we're trying to build should expect to win.
The Jayhawks will look to rebound from this loss on Friday when they go to Ames, Iowa to face the Iowa State Cyclones in another Big 12 conference matchup. To keep up with Kansas Soccer, you can go follow them on Instagram at Kansas Soccer or on X at KUW Soccer. Now, let's go over to Annika to talk about KU swimming.
Thanks, Xander. Now we'll be moving from the land onto the water. KU swim team just began their fall season opener on Friday at the Sunflower Showdown. The team looked fabulous as they completely swept their competition, winning 10 of their events and securing 692 points, with St. Mary's placing 2nd with a 184-point gap behind KU, scoring 508 points. KU kicked off the showdown by sweeping the 200-yard medley relay, with senior Molly Robinson, junior Brady Ward, sophomore Ella Hansen, and freshman Sarah Blake, clocking in first at 1 minute and 45 seconds. Sophomore Gabby Dyer and freshman Ivy Solt took the top 2 spots in the 200-yard freestyle, and Dyer later added another win in the 500 free. Freshman Sarah Blake made her college debut with a big impact, winning both the 500 and the 100-yard freestyle. Her sister, senior Caroline Blake, finished right behind her in the 50. Team captain Lydia Lafferty also picked up 2 wins in the 100 butterfly and the 100 backstroke. The meet ended the way it started with yet another Jayhawk victory, this time in the 200-yard freestyle relay. All of KU's relay teams finished in the top 5. The Jayhawks return home next Friday for their Crimson vs. Blue inter-squad meet at Robinson Natatorium. First race starts at 4 p.m. with a perfect start to their season, and KU looks ready to keep making waves. And that's all I got for KU swimming. We'll be back after the short break. Stick around.
days later.
Emmett is going to break down the recruitment success for Jayhawk basketball after 4 huge recruits from the 2026 class appeared in 1 week. Next, it's Sunday, Sunday, Sunday! Xander is back to break down week 5 of the NFL season, where the Jets are still winless and the Bills lost to the Patriots. Finally, Zach returns to break the MLB playoffs down, as we are already down to the top 8 teams. But it's time for some KU basketball.
Thanks, Kyler. Now, usually this is the start of the pro sports block, but we just couldn't overlook what is happening for KU basketball. And man, what a week it has been for Bill Self and company. That man is cooking. Over this past week, the Jayhawks have landed 4 top recruits in just 1 week. The week-long stretch started off hot on September 28th when Kansas landed 2026 star Taylon Kinney, who is rated as the #1 point guard in the country. The following Wednesday, 4-star Trent Perry committed, and Self wasn't done yet, however, as 2 days later the Jayhawks would get a surprise commitment from 2027 5-star Javon Bardwell. Then, to top it off last night, 2026 4-star Davion Atkins announced his commitment to the Jayhawks. I mean, it just doesn't get any better than that. Or does it? Let's deep dive into this week of recruiting. Taylon Kinney was the first addition to the 2026 class and single-handedly makes the class elite. But like the staff, even he knew that more recruits were coming, and he said he's been doing some of his own. As Darren Peterson gets ready for the 2026 draft, there will be no worry about who will replace him, as Self handed Kinney the keys. Kinney is a top 15 overall player and regarded as the #1 point guard in the country. He is praised for his facilitating and playmaking and is forming himself into a 3-level scorer. Trent Perry committed the following Wednesday. The KC native is a top 40 small forward in the country. He is known for his frame and size, as he causes a lot of issues for opponents on the defensive side. Perry is a great addition to the class, but will be more of a 4-year type of player. When his time comes, he will be a solid 2-way player in Lawrence. The following Friday, the Jayhawks received a quick commitment from a top 15 player in the country in Javon Bardwell. A few days prior to his commitment, Bardwell had announced his final 4 schools, which consisted of Texas, USC, Louisville, and Kansas. Bardwell is a very talented small forward. He is athletic and lengthy, allowing him to get to his spots and score consistently. To make things even better, rumor is that he is a reclass and will most likely find himself joining this 2026 recruitment class. Finally, last night, Atkins announced his commitment on ESPN. He is a top 25 center and makes a presence on both ends of the floor, as he averages 2.3 blocks per game and is dominant down low on the offensive side. He is the last addition of this week, but still a great get. Atkins will be an instant impact player for the centers come fall of 2026. It's crazy to think that just last week, the Jayhawks had 0 commits in the 2026 class. None. Now, they have an agreeable top 10 recruitment class, and Bill Self seems to not be done yet. The #1 overall player in the 2026 class, Tyron Stokes, just announced his final 5 last night, and the Jayhawks are heavily involved. In my opinion, this is one of the best stretches of recruitment Kansas has ever seen. This class has skill, size, and a ton of potential. That's all I got for the latest recruitment update. Xander, give me that Sunday scoreboard.
Thanks, Emmett. This week's Sunday slate was the first time that this season that teams were on bye. But just because there were fewer games doesn't mean it was any less fun to watch. Some of these teams, though, they could have fooled me. So let's take a look at these first couple of morning games over here. The Cowboys took it to the Jets all game with Dak Prescott throwing for 4 touchdowns, and the Jets now sit at 0-5 going into their game in London next week. Why do we keep sending London our worst teams? I'm not really sure. But let's look at this. 40-6 victory for the Colts. Who would have thought the Colts would be a team to beat in the AFC? For the Raiders, though, Geno Smith has thrown a league-leading 9 interceptions. And this week, now it may be time for him to write back. And down here, we see that, well, the Ravens clearly need Lamar Jackson, and we might need to hand him another MVP award because he was this entire football team. Now, let's take a look at the rest of these morning games. The Saints picked up their first win of the season over the Giants, 26-14. And the Panthers come from behind and beat the Dolphins 27-24. Now let's take a look at these two games down here. Starting with the Vikings. The Vikings beat the Browns in London after a last-minute touchdown to Jordan Addison. And the Broncos and the Eagles, or the Broncos and the Eagles undefeated streak after a 14-point fourth quarter comeback. Moving on to the afternoon slate now. The Lions trounced the Bengals 37-24, intercepting Jake Browning 3 times. The Commanders scored 27 unanswered points in this one, and the Chargers didn't score after the first quarter. The Chargers may not be ready to be taken as serious contenders just yet. But how about this? The Titans come out of nowhere to beat the Cardinals on a last-second field goal, and Cam Ward gets his first career win. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. Our host, Kyler, might just be a better quarterback than Kyler Murray. But this Seahawks vs. Buccaneers game was game of the day. It had the jerseys, the scoring, and the drama. Sam Darnold threw this interception to Levante David, and then Corey McLaughlin knocked down the last-second field goal to give the Buccaneers the victory. And how about the end of the night with Drake May and Stephon Diggs knocking off the Bills in Buffalo? The Drake May MVP agenda is alive and well, and Pats Nation, we are so back. That's all from me. Now, let's send it over to Zach to talk about the MLB playoffs.
You may not hear it at first, but it's there. Our chant, rising. On this summit, callings converge, voices unify into a chorus that sounds out for good, for greatness. Can you hear it?
Wrapping up today's episode, Luke is going to give us an update on F1 as they traveled to Singapore. And I must say, McLaren and Mercedes had a great race day. We'll also bring back Johnny and Zach as they bring the boom, breaking down the top hits of the week. Lastly, the great roundtable of Jane, Landon, and Michael return to talk about rookies making their way to NFL stardom. But let's go to the world of F1.
Thank you, Kyler. This week, Formula One is racing under the lights at the Marina Bay Circuit in Singapore. This circuit is known for its extreme heat, as temperatures can get to 140 degrees inside the car during the race. Unlike last week, McLaren could handle the heat and actually got the job done as they clinched the World Constructors' Championship. However, it wasn't easy and it didn't come without controversy. It was a very interesting race weekend. Now here's what happened. In qualifying, the McLaren struggled, and while it may seem like a good outcome, they could only manage a P3 for Oscar Piastri and a P5 for Lando Norris. It was a very frustrating result for the team, as they expect themselves to be fighting for pole position every weekend. During the opening lap of the race, Lando Norris had a good start, making it all the way up next to his teammate in the first corner. However, this is when trouble started. Lando Norris collided with his teammate and almost put him in the wall. The normally cool, calm, and collected Oscar Piastri had a rare moment of anger on the radio where he voiced his displeasure with his teammate. He said some things that shouldn't be repeated on the show, so you're going to have to go and look that up for yourself. Anyways, in the end, there was nothing he could do as he finished fourth during the race. Even through all the controversy during the race, McLaren still managed to win the Constructors' Championship for the second year in a row. While the Constructors' Championship might be wrapped up, the Drivers' Championship is still going head-to-head with two contenders trying to take it for themselves. Both the McLaren drivers are still in play for the title. Next time out, Formula One heads to the Lone Star State for the Austin Grand Prix. That's all from me today. Now we're going to head over to Zach and John with some angry runs.
Thank you, Luke, and hello, everybody, and welcome back to another week of Bringing the Boom. We are coming off an absolutely wild week in the world of football that saw even more huge hits, monster trucks, and of course, all the exciting plays that just make you call up your buddies to say, "Did you see that?" We've got 5 plays to talk about today, so without further ado, let's jump right into the action.
We start off with one of our new favorite players around here. It's Cam Scatabo with a filthy block. This is the definition of football now, isn't it, Zach?
It is. He's blocking a 300-plus pound defensive lineman right there, and you love to see it. Now, let's go down to Carolina and take a look at Rico Dowdle, just taking this whole poor, sorry Miami defense with him, as he just has ill intentions with the football in his hands.
That's just what you got to do, man. You just got to swarm to the ball. And for the first time, we take a look at a clip from a game that happened under Friday Night Lights. It's St. Thomas Aquinas linebacker Terrence Bryant, who absolutely obliterates Bishop Miege's quarterback Quinn Englert for the sack.
It was a big hit. Once again, it makes you rethink your decisions at left tackle. Now, it's Cincy rolling in the tape. Last week, they were a sore subject to us Jayhawks, and now it's Iowa State's turn. Tawi Walker turns into a literal bulldozer as he smashes into a Cyclone. This was one of the cleanest trucks we have seen all year.
Holy, did you see that?
The former Boomer Sooner.
It's back-to-back Bearcat booms as we get to one of the best quarterbacks in the nation, Iowa State's Rocco Becht, getting tucked in bed and put to sleep by Simeon Coleman of Cincinnati. This is just pure violence, bottled up in a 5'11", 225-pound frame. Holy
He was
smokes.
headhunting.
He was headhunting. All right, everybody. That concludes Bringing the Boom this week. Thank you, everybody, for watching. And now on to Landon, Michael, and Jane as they discuss business of ball knowledge and business is booming.
Wow, that was awesome, guys. You know, I'm a huge fan of Bringing the Boom. As you can currently see, guys, I'm wearing my blue tie in honor of a phenomenal Carolina Panthers win yesterday. Shout out to those boys out there with some help of some key rookies. And ironically, that's what we're debating today. Welcome back to the roundtable. My name is Landon Bassov. I'm joined by my co-hosts Michael Tomasco and Jane Runyon. And today we're discussing which rookies have been on fire early and how some of the offensive rookie of the year race has been starting to shape up. Mike, you seem pretty passionate about your take. Who are you taking in the rookie radar here?
Folks, I don't know what it is, but I just can't get over this Colts offense. The addition of Tyler Warren, tight end out of Penn State, has really enhanced this offense. He has 23 receptions and a touchdown in just 5 games. I might not have Johnny's skill, but if I were a betting man, I'd take him to win Offensive Rookie of the Year.
I completely agree. I mean, the Colts have been amazing this year, and I mean, with the help of him, they could go far.
You know, as much as I want to agree with this take, Tyler Warren's a great tight end. I'm not going to discredit that, but a tight end has never won Offensive Rookie of the Year. I mean, that's just not possible.
It's going to happen.
You see all of the receivers in this class. You see all the running backs. Hell, even some of the quarterbacks in this draft. I mean, you kidding me with this?
I don't know, man.
Jane, you're talking about a wide receiver. Who are you taking this rookie radar here?
Yeah, someone who has been producing a great amount of numbers this year, Emeka Egbuku. From the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He has 25 receptions and 445 yards. He might beat the season Puka Nacua this year. His efficiency and prophecy signs, I mean, Tampa Bay is going to do great. I mean,
as much as I want to disagree with you here, I hate the division rival Tampa Bay Buccaneers, but I mean, we just did not expect Emeka Egbuka to be this great. I mean, honestly,
Completely agree. I think he looks fantastic. Love the way he runs. Great speed, great play style overall. Love to see that out of Tampa Bay.
I mean, and Baker Mayfield's been on fire, so I got to give credit to him as well. And Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, some injury issues with there. So I mean, there's replacing receivers out here. So, I mean, anything with that.
And Landon, bringing it back to you, who is your rookie report this season?
Well, let's zoom out here into the bigger picture here. And now, when it's all said and done, and we're 80 years old, we're sitting on our rocking chairs on our front porches, watching our grandkids play in the grass, we will be reminiscing about how the 25 NFL draft produced one of the most impactful offensive classes of all time. I mean, we have guys drafted in the 6th and 7th rounds here, playing the majority of snaps. Watch this Jimmy Horn catch on 4th and 5. Now, that's what I call making an impact. That's how you make a statement.
I mean, I agree. I think they look great. But, I mean, come on. Look at last year. We had Marvin Harrison Jr., Brian Thomas Jr., even Xavier Legette. Love that guy. I think last year blows this year out of the water.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think last year was great. And I think you could say that every year, though.
I mean, I hate to say, we've already seen year 2 of those guys. They're already developing, but you haven't seen guys in the 2024 class who have been making an impact this early. I mean, guys who you haven't even heard of are out there making plays already. Guys who should have been undrafted, they're out there, they're making plays, they're making a name for themselves. And personally, that's what I love. That's all about what it is. Anything else, guys?
You hit the nail on the head there, man.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Well, I mean, unfortunately, that's going to be all from us. Lots of great rookies, and I honestly think that the Rookie of the Year race could be anyone's game. Now, we're going to send you over to Kyler, who's probably going to say something outlandish about his Green Bay Packers. How was the bye week, Kyler?
Another update for my Packers fans. I think we needed this week off to think about that disappointing Cowboys game and get ready for the Bengals and their offense, which is cooking about as much as a fridge in the Arctic. Later tonight, the the Jaguars are going to host the Chiefs on Monday Night Football at 7:15 p.m. Also, rest in peace to Johnny's betting segment for this week. Well, that's all the time I have for today's show. Make sure to check out this Friday and next Monday's episode for all things KU and professional sports. Until next time, stay safe, call your parents, and run it back.